News, NBC News now making the projection that the race between Senator Perdue and Jon Ossoff will head for a runoff. In Georgia, Senator Perdue, below the 50% +1 threshold, puts him on pace for that runoff January 5th. NBC making that projection. 2 Senate runoffs then in our state, 2 seats that could determine the control of the U.S. Senate. We have known Reverend Raphael Warnock and Senator Kelly Loeffler will face each other in a runoff in the Senate special election. Joe Henke is live to explain why this is so historic.
Well, Cheryl, historically before 2020, there had only been 2 U.S. Senate races in Georgia all time that headed to runoffs. On election night, that special election, as you mentioned, for Reverend Warnock and Kelly Loeffler was called, and they are now locked in to a runoff later this year. And now we are learning Senator David Perdue, after he fell below the threshold earlier this morning, he is set up for a runoff himself against Democrat Jon Ossoff. Now, to avoid a runoff, Senator David Perdue would have needed 50% +1 vote against Democrat Jon Ossoff. This morning, though, as I mentioned, he fell below that threshold and now remains there, as Ossoff and Libertarian candidate Shane Hazel's votes combined now add up to more than 50% of the vote. 1992 and 2008, those are the only 2 other times a U.S. Senate race in Georgia headed to a runoff. Both of those were won by Republicans. A University of Georgia political science professor tells me one reason why is turnout usually drops off considerably in past runoffs. That has especially hurt Georgia Democrats. This year, though, he thinks might be different.
It may be that the drop-off in participation will not be as great because we're going to have not 1 but 2 high-profile runoffs in place. So we've never had anything quite like this.
And Charles Bullock, their professor of political science with the University of Georgia, tells me turnout in runoffs in Georgia has also considerably dropped amongst black voters, but he thinks that might change this year as well, with Reverend Raphael Warnock obviously being a black candidate on the ballot. He says if black voters return for the runoff, that would especially help Democrats in both of these runoffs. You can also expect a lot of money from out of state to pour into these runoffs here, as these will be the only 2 Senate races left in the country potentially. Earlier today, we already learned of 1 Republican PAC from out of state committing $4 million to support Loeffler and Perdue. We'll send it back to you in studio.
Joe, thank you.